How do you navigate the big question, Paras, of what is oversharing, what is not oversharing? Is there a boundary that you've sorted out in your own head?
Let me see. All right. So I was talking, one of my big videos I put up the other day was about the fact that, oh, look at how many hickeys I have. Now, I
Okay.
don't know if you would talk about that as oversharing because as an LGBT activist, I was talking about the fact that you have these areas where LGBT people can find where they have to go. It's not really oversharing because I think the one thing I have done for myself always is to contextualize my oversharing with some information. So a lot of the people who follow me eventually, while I might be doing the masti, I'm partying, I'm talking about my new girlfriends and boyfriends, that could be considered oversharing. But there's always an undertone or an underlayer of something you will find as information. Because I'm known mostly for skincare, a lot of the stuff I'm normally doing is teaching you something. So oversharing for me has not really been a problem. Also, I genuinely, I always say I'm a bit of a narcissist and I'm a documentary filmmaker. It's just that the only thing I'm documenting is my own life. So I'm perpetually talking about what I am doing, where I am, what is up, and it's always fun. Like for example, now that we're on this broadcast, a whole bunch of people who are following me will say, "Oh, हमने देखा था, you had bought this, they will know the price of what I have bought. They will know exactly where I bought it from." So I think the good part about this, and I have to say this is for a lot of people, and I hear some people talk about social anxiety, and I think, and I see this, I'm 40, I'm a CEO and a founder. In fact, I'm no more an actor. I run a business which did 300 crores last year. To also understand all those milestones also make you feel like you really arrived in life, you feel successful. I'm no longer looking for validation. When I was 18, I was a journalist with your channel. So I started my journey like that, but I was always very sure of what I was doing. So I think social media for me actually has been a very different tool. I don't have a mom, I don't have a dad, I'm actually all alone. I went to a gay sauna about 3 days ago. I was in an alley. I'm not even joking. I felt so scared because I was like, hey, listen, what if I'm going to be in trouble? Putting up a small story there saying, guys, I don't know where I am. I actually felt a lot better. People knew where I was. I tagged the place. You can actually use it as a safety tool. A lot of people who say about social anxiety when people say stuff like, I'm feeling jealous when I see other people's lives. I also think this is also currently a Gen Z problem versus a millennial problem. When I see someone who's great, I don't want to feel jealous. It's like, great, this is awesome. I want to let me work hard towards it. So I think very often it's about the narrative that you create. And as an entrepreneur, for me, when I see something which is amazing, which I think Insta is great for, you can either see it in a way saying, oh my God, look at how much the other person has, or say, hey, listen, I really like this life. Let me watch this story and say, okay, this is where he went. This is what he did. If it cost him, say, 35 lakhs to do this trip, let me earn the 35 lakhs because he's also giving me videos about how to run a business. So I think oversharing for me has not really been a problem because also, let's be real, I am open. I've been open about my life, my sexuality, my business, my numbers. And when you are that open, you don't really have much to hide. So in my case, the reason I don't call it oversharing is because everything in my life is transparent. And because it is all transparent, there is nothing to hide. I'm not simply sharing the good moments. I'm not simply sharing the bad moments. I'm sharing all the moments. We were coming to the country. We got stopped by customs for 45 minutes. They looked at my beautiful face. They're like, you're too good looking for this country. What's going on? Of course, we were documenting it. So now I'm going to go and tell people, saying, guys, if you're coming we've come here without a South Korean visa, by the way, with one jol. Where you can, if you're going to Australia, you can transit for 30 days. So the thing for me is oversharing is great because in my case, it's always layered with multiple amounts of information. And I think that is why people watch this stuff and they're like, Hiki kahan se hai? Was that a guy? Was that a girl? People are interested. You're breaking the LGBT barrier. You're breaking the party barrier. You're normalizing so much stuff by talking about it.
So you're almost saying that there's an undertone to every single thing you're doing. There's a message you're trying to spread. I just want to ask you though very quickly. We heard right before we came over to you, we heard someone talking about their social anxiety, and they were talking a little bit about how they've taken a hiatus altogether and how that's made them feel. I just want to ask you then, any advice you'd have to give to people as they're navigating social media, especially, if they haven't reached the confidence levels that you're at right now? You're saying it's been a journey that's gotten you here. What would your advice be? Would it just be to post through any anxiety?
The one thing I honestly don't do is I never look at comments. You will really, my team for business will look at comments. And that has been, anyone who's around me will see, Paras is never on his phone. I could be making a story, I could be shooting. I am never scrolling social media. I have zero interest. For the simple reason that I have so much happening in my life already. If I'm looking for information, I might look for it. The one thing I never do is, if you can stay away from comments, that will keep your life so easy. I'll tell you why. Great comments that make you feel wonderful. They make you feel like, oh my God, I'm the most important person on the planet. I am so incredibly good looking. I'm so successful. All the comments make you feel good. If you're going to get so heightened, it's like an insulin spike, right? Like with sugar. If you're going to feel so happy about all the good things people are saying to you, and somebody says, listen, I don't like what you're wearing, that one comment is going to bother you. So as a rule for me, and if you go to my social media, I don't engage with comments. I just don't. It's kept me so simple. The second thing I will tell you is the current trend which is happening, where a lot of people will start saying, I'm unfollowing you, I'm unfollowing you. Say, this happens to me very often. I will put up content about Ayurveda, I will put up content about spirituality, I'll put up content about sexuality. Like with somebody who's following me for Ayurveda, who's not following me for the LGBT content, then they'll say stuff like, I'm unfollowing you. You know, when people say, log, char log kya kahenge, they don't realize they are the four people. And I've always been very clear about the fact that the day I start letting people following me or unfollowing me dictate my life, I'm in trouble. I'm very happy about people's generosity about following my life. At the same time, you have to be clear. I always say this even to my followers. I'm happy you follow me, but I don't live my life for your follow. And I think, like you're saying, that also comes with age, that comes with success, that comes with experience. If you can enjoy it without having to think that my entire life tomorrow is based on how many followers I have, you'll be fine. And I think Gen Z in that sense has a better handle because they have realized this is social currency is eventually called Momaya. Today people love you, tomorrow they will troll you. So you have to be very well balanced. The people who really are in your life are the people who love you no matter what. And I think when you understand that, it's nice to feel loved, it's nice to feel wanted, but you have to understand that the validation is going to come from strangers. The brick paths will also come from strangers. So eventually, if you don't read your comments, which is the one thing I do, you'll be fine. It just makes your life so much easier. And the other thing is that anyone says, hey, I'm unfollowing you because you put up these stories, I'm like, it's all right, fine. I'm very happy to have maybe 10 people who are following me. But there are people who really like me for what I really do. And even that's fine because I document it for myself. You know, the one other advice I gave a lot of people who are now, also for us, it's business. I built a 2,500 crore company on social media. So I have a lot of regard for social media. My entire business today runs because of Instagram and Facebook. For us, it's commerce. I hire 600 people and their livelihoods are based on what Paras is doing, right? So for us, it's commerce. It's slightly different. But at the same time, my social media versus my brand social media, even though it's both Paras, is very different. My brand social media is very sanskari. There I'm maybe not showing as much chest hair and chest. But on my own Instagram, I'm like, hey guys, listen, this is where I am. The only thing I've done is my language is clean. And that comes from broadcast. I can say anything, but I will not abuse. My language will be clean. And that's the beauty of social media. You can say everything you want without feeling like you have to go through censorship, right? And that's what broadcast taught me. When I was at CNN News 18, you should be able to say whatever you want. Your language should not be abusive. And that's fine. I think credibility comes from that a lot.
Paras, thank you. It's so funny because we had so many questions for you and you've addressed all of them in just these two answers. Thank you for taking out the time, but also more importantly, thank you for telling us how we can navigate because you've got a very, very positive, it feels, a lot of respect also for what social media can help you do. So thank you for taking out the time. We know you're joining us right now from Korea as we speak.